Hordes of frogs have launched their own cryptocurrency in an attempt to take over the decentralized finance space. But the launch has spectacularly failed after the frogs ran out of flies. The frogs started the project after becoming frustrated at being constantly hunted by humans and other animals. One particularly entrepreneurial frog said it was time for frogs to take their destiny into their own webbed hands and build a better world for all amphibians. The bugcoin website promised that the new crypto would allow frogs to trade valuable insects amongst themselves without the risk of being hunted by another animal in the process. Using code written by a team of highly intelligent frogs at the prestigious Froggy University, the frogs created their very own blockchain network they called It also said that by using the blockchain, every frog could be their own financial advisor, allowing them to collectively invest in things like more flies or even real estate. The flies would then be distributed to frogs who held the most bugcoin, meaning the more you had, the more flies you got. The frogs plan to use half of all the coins to buy flies from farmers markets across the world, meaning there'd always be a plentiful supply for frogs looking to make an investment. But that wasn't the only problem. The frogs also quickly realized that not all flies are created equal. But everyone knows that dung beetles are way more valuable. They're much rarer, harder to catch, and can fetch a much higher price. The first problem the frogs encountered was that they couldn't actually get enough flies to satisfy demand. Despite having a huge budget, the frogs simply couldn't buy enough flies due to how popular they were at farmers markets. Instead, we'll probably just focus on making it easier for frogs to trade flies with each other. Maybe one day we'll even branch out into other cryptocurrencies like beetle. The money had already been spent and all they had to show for it was a giant pile of worthless common house flies. The frogs' grand plan to take over the cryptoverse had fallen apart because they couldn't get enough of the good stuff. The plan was simple. The frogs would mine the currency by hopping around on special treadmills, which were then converted into human currency and used to buy the flies. The frogs are still planning to use their blockchain technology to create a better world for amphibians everywhere. But they've had to scale back their ambitions somewhat. We tried mining, but the rewards were just too small. It just isn't worth our time. We believe in the long-term vision of bugcoin and remain committed to building a better financial future for frogs everywhere. But one thing's for sure. If you're going to get involved in crypto, you've got to do your research and be careful where you put your money. Just ask these frogs. While the recent fly shortage has been disappointing, we're confident that our blockchain technology can help us overcome this and other challenges in the future. It seemed like a great idea with the best of intentions. But unfortunately for the frogs, their grand plan fell apart at the very first hurdle. One frog investor told reporters, "We were so excited to get our paws on some prime insect real estate, but we just couldn't get enough flies to go around. To make matters worse, the price of flies kept going up, meaning the frogs were getting even less for their newly mined currency. We soon found that the flies we were buying were mostly common house flies," said one disgruntled investor. Unfortunately, by the time the frogs realized this, it was too late. So what's next for the frogs? Well, they haven't given up yet. One frog told us, "We're still working on it, but it looks like our first target won't be world domination." When asked for comment, a representative from Froggy University said, "So it seems that the frogs aren't giving up, despite their recent failure."